So I know that I have promised you, since I lost the video somehow, I'm not sure what happened to it, I lost the video on how I tie on my warp to the cloth beam. So I am going to do that right now, and this is the first time I've used my Gulas loom, and I'm pretty pumped. I did just do a video on my first impressions, and second impressions. So far, so good. This is entirely my own preference. I don't care for flat steel heddles, but they are fine. They work well, and my stretch is not quite the way I would like it to be able to reach the leash sticks in the back. But again, that's fine. And of course, that said, interestingly enough, you can actually leave the leash sticks in if you'd like. I am going to actually remove them so that you can see that they just, boy, it takes a little bit of pressure, but they unclip, just like that. I'll unclip this one, just like that. I'm also going to remove my rattle before we start. What I like to do all of this, removing all of these bits and pieces before I put it onto the cloth beam, so that I know that the tension is going to be completely accurate. I don't want to have to leave this rattle on the entire time, because when I fold this up into my little suitcase style, this rattle is not, it's not going to travel well. So we'll go ahead and remove the rubber bands from that. This was also interesting. This particular loom has, now I have to slide my hand in there in order to get this out properly. There we go. This particular loom does have a rounded edge to it on both the back beam and the cloth beam. So I am actually going to stick these leash sticks back in to their holders, but not through any of the yarn. You can hear that snap as they just snap into their area. So that way I don't lose these. They're not going to do any harm. And that's just one more thing for the warp to travel over. So those are the leash sticks. Now we're just going to kind of turn it a little bit. Maybe. There we go. A little bit this way so that you can see more of what, oh, that worked. More of what I am doing. There. Hopefully that works. Okay. So again, I am going to show you how I wind or attach this to my cloth beam, and then I'm going to wind this on. Just as a reiteration, these are the towels that I have done, that I've woven up. Give credit where credit is due. I did not create this pattern. I am really not very good at creating patterns. I am very good at following patterns, however. So my Very Perfect towels, I did change it up a little by, instead of a purple gray, or a purple blue gray lavender, I changed it up so that we have a purple, gray, lavender, and yellow, which are my medieval, my SCA Kingdom colors, Callantyre. And I have also shortened it. These towels are supposed to have an additional, it's supposed to be like five colors originally, I think. And it's set for like a 21 or a 22 inch loom. So I I have pared it down so that it would fit my loom here and changed up the colors. Everything else is exactly the same, so if you are interested in this, My Very Peri Perfect Towels is in Handwoven Magazine in November, December of 2022. So this is a fairly recent pattern. To begin, all of these, I have these every inch. I have tied a half knot. So now, every inch, I'm actually going to, whoops, which side's it on? It's on this side. So I'm actually going to roll this forward a little bit, give myself a little bit more of a working room. Which side is this? That tells you how new the loom is. I haven't used it before. This is it. Oh, I wanted to show you how this folds. So it's got nice little clips right here so that it can fold down along with the harnesses. And you pull them out and it just snaps right into place. So I thought that was pretty neat. I like that idea. Rather than having to remove it, it stays put. Okay, so I do an overhand knot about every inch. If you have a wider warp or more yarns, more ends, or a thinner warp, perhaps, maybe you're not using an 8-2, maybe you're using a 16 or a 22, you could do it every half inch. It's entirely up to you. I like to make it even so that it's easy for me to pick through. But I tie a knot into the ends of every single one of my bats. What this enables me to do is save a little bit of the warp from actually tying it on. A lot of times you will hear people. Let's see if I can move this back. You'll put it over, and then you bring it around, and then you tie a knot here. I'm probably going to end up saving about 6 inches of warp by doing this. The way I do it, rather than doing the tie-on method that most of the teachers and whatnot will show you how to do. There's nothing wrong with that. I have a problem with it because I can never get the proper tension on my yarns all the way across if I do that tie-on method. Some reason there's always 1 or 2 bats that are they refuse to tension up properly, and I cannot for the life of me tie knots that well. So that's on me. As I said in another video, there is no right or wrong way to do this. If you prefer to do it the other way, have at it. You do you. And you will never hear me say anything wrong about that. That was the way I tied on for many, many years. Until I discovered this way. So, you do, like I said, you do you. I'm going to do it this way, and you will see why it's easier for me, at least, to get an even tension all the way across. I'm really digging this sliding beater bar. It's just, it really, the sliding beater bar makes this machine so amazingly awesome. Even warping or slaying the reed, because this doesn't move forward and slam shut or on the pivot, and it doesn't go this way. I can easily just hold this right where I want it while I'm slaying the reed, and that's a game changer. That was really nice to be able to do. It did not take me very long at all, maybe half an hour to 20 minutes maybe to slay this reed. And as I said in my my First Thoughts video, Slaying the Reed, I was able to use my my Harrisville designs with no problem. Although it does come with a reed hook, as well as the words are hard. Good lord, the heddle hook. Jeez, I should probably just go back to bed. But I have too much to do. Okay, so to begin, this is what I do. I make sure that all of these have knots in them, and the way I do it, it doesn't matter if the knots are in exactly the same place. Because what we end up doing, I have some 3-2 Astra yarn here, just extra. Obviously, there's not much I can do with it. So I take approximately 4 widths worth. And, you know, your mileage may vary depending on how you do this. And I'm probably going to end up with some extra, but that's okay. I don't care. Alright, so I'm going to put a loop in the end, like so. That way I'm not actually tying it to anything. And to begin with, I am going to wrap this around and pull this through the loop, and I'm going to pull all of it out. All of it comes through the loop. Now remember, this is the first time I've done this with this particular one. I am used to having, oh yeah, duh, over. You want to go over the bar, not under it, over it. I am used to having multiple tie-ups here on this, so this is going to be an interesting way. So to begin, you take your first bat and you split it in half, and you pull your yarn through the center like that. You wrap it around the bar, and you do the same thing going all the way across. You wrap it around and you pull it through. Oops, there we go. And this is going to be the tricky part for me, is figuring out where it needs to come through here. So I think we'll do this, and again, halfway through. Now I have this at 2 ends per dent in a 10 dent reed, so every 5 strings, or every 5 dents. That's where I'm putting this on mine. Just gonna spread it out a little bit more, and we're gonna go over to the side here. This is just an experiment. It might work, it might need to be redone, but we'll see. And again, I pull it out and through, and I pull it out and through, and I think I may have to loosen this a little bit so that we have enough yarn to do the full width. I don't need that much yarn going all the way across. I just need enough so that I can manipulate it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that was nice. Half yellow, half purple. I love purple and gold colors. Absolutely gorgeous. Yay, go Callantyr! Okay. And yes, I am going to loosen this back beam a little bit more. Let's see. No, I'm not. I'm gonna. Yes, I am. So that I can pull these. You see how I'm doing this tension? This is exactly how you're going to do it once you get everything through. Is you're going to pull on the individual ends to re-tension everything, so that it's all an even tension. You'll have to forgive my voice, or well, you don't have to, but I would appreciate it if you would forgive my voice. I'm a little froggy today. I'm not sure why. I guess I'll go on this side. And I had 2 on that side, but that's okay. And now, and because of this, you can see why it didn't matter where I had the bats, the ends, the knots tied into the ends, because it actually pulls it through and evens up the tension regardless of where those particular bats ended up. So that's not bad, but notice that I still have a lot of loose threads up here. So I am simply going to pull this back, and that'll give me a little bit extra to tie this final knot. I know this is a long video, and I know I'm talking a lot, but you're seeing exactly what I do the entire way. Then I wrap it around, I tie a half knot, and then I retension all the way across. Now I'm not fully tensioning, I'm just pulling the yarn. So that I have enough to, but you know what, I think I'm going to change that around. I think I'm going to put this piece on the other side. We're going to wrap that there, and then through here, and then around here, so that we've got the same amount on either side of the ties. Okay. And again, we're just going to do a little half knot. Make sure that we've got decent tension throughout. Yeah, see how, that's why I do a half knot there to begin with. And then I wrap this around and I grab the loop. And I leave it as a loop, so that when I'm all done, I can just pull the loop and all of the strings out like that, okay? Now, in order to double check your tension, you want to have a little bit more yarn here. We're going to tighten it up a little bit. It seems reasonable. This is a little loose. I'm going to loosen it up a little bit in the back here, so that I can move it more forward this way. Give me a little bit more. You want to have a decent tension, even when you're trying to tension the whole thing. You want to be able to have a decent tension at the very beginning, and you want as much yarn as possible up here. So, okay, second thoughts on the loom. Since all of the winding is on the left-hand side, I think I'm going to need to work on my left-hand muscles. I am a right-handed person, so I've got some good solid muscle over here, but this is kind of, all right. I'm a little weak on the left side. Just another thought. Okay, so this is going to be going by feel. Does it feel like you have even tension all the way across? Now, everybody who's used to tying them across here knows that at this point, if you don't, you have to untie the bout, tighten it up a little bit. But for me, because of the way I do it, all I have to do is just kind of pull on these strings, and you can see that it's lightly loosening up in some places and tightening up in others. And that is the beauty of utilizing this particular method. Okay, so it's a little looser there. Let's get just a I am very particular about my tension. I want to make sure that my tension is even all the way throughout the entire thing. And so I will do this, and by doing that, it kind of knocks these threads a little bit so that they'll go evenly as well. And that's feeling pretty decent right there. So I'm going to tighten it up one more. And I'm going to do a test because I have not woven on this yet. I want to see what this shed looks like. So we're going to go with, well, we'll just pull on the one, which is every other thread. All right. That's not a bad shed for a table loom, I don't think. Let's see. Let's measure it. We have close to 2 inches, looks like 1 1/4 inches of a shed, which, no, there isn't anything on here, but that goes through very nicely across the shed. So I don't have a shuttle race, which I'm sure that I've mentioned before. I really prefer to have a shuttle race, but I'm okay on a table loom without one because it's easy enough to reach through and take care of that. So there you go. Not bad. We've got this wonderful sliding beater bar. The harnesses have a decent pull. Yeah, you can definitely tell that I've got a lace thing going on here. What was that? Well, that's interesting. I think I have an issue here. I have a threading issue. Guess what? I get to undo this and rethread that. Won't that be entertaining? Thanks for watching my TED Talk.